I'm Brock Stoller, and you're watching Rugby Wrap Up.
Rugby Wrap Up brought to you in part by Irish Rugby Tours, the Rugby Tours people, a balanced palate, nutrition for peak performance, and the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street, the world's best rugby pub. Hey everybody, welcome back to Rugby Wrap Up. Matt McCarthy and Steve Lewis at the Fantasy Sports Network, Studio 34 in New York City, talking rugby. And Steven, we don't just talk professional rugby or international test rugby or global rugby. We talk high school rugby, don't we?
We do,
Yes.
every now and again.
And you happen to be an esteemed coach, an award-winning coach.
Not at high school rugby.
No, but you have high school players that come up through you, right?
Absolutely, yeah. High school rugby's going well. It's good sector in American rugby now. It's going really, really well. Explosive growth.
And speaking of growth, I was born in Jersey City, and you could never in a million years imagine what's happening down there. You've got two Catholic high schools, Hudson Catholic and St. Peter's, with rugby programs in the urban oasis that is Jersey City, and they're doing well. They're giving all these kids opportunities. And Christian Brothers Academy from down the Jersey Shore came into town to play against St. Peter's Prep, and we were there. Check this out. Coach, how old's the program?
We've been here. It's our 16th competitive season here at St. Peter's Prep.
You got a pathway now for kids. They can play in college, Major League Rugby, for the nation. What's that like for you now?
Oh, it's a lot of fun. You know, we got a lot of guys who went on through here, on through college, so it's good. It's a lot of fun. The kids are having a great time.
So what's your rugby background?
I've been here, I've been there, my friend. I've been coaching for the last 20 years. I played out in Oregon for a while, played with Monmouth for a while. I was up at Boston College High School as a coach. I've been down here at St. Peter's Prep since 2001.
Nothing like Oregon to Jersey City.
Right, you got it, my friend. You got it.
All right, well, continued success, Coach.
All right, thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Yep.
Coach Pat Moroney of Christian Brothers Academy, CBA. Pat, rugby is growing in America. It's evidenced here in Jersey City, the mecca of high school rugby, apparently, with St. Peter's Prep, Hudson Catholic. As somebody from Jersey City, I just can't believe it, but you're coming up from the Jersey Shore area. Christian Brothers Academy, great program you got down there. And now we have two teams really going at it here in Jersey City, Hudson Catholic, St. Peter's. You played St. Peter's today. What's the experience been like for you guys?
Well, we always love coming up here. St. Peter's are fantastic hosts, and it's great to play in this environment with all these buildings around us, and it's great to see rugby growing like it is right now. Rugby New Jersey, we've got a good competition. We need more schools, there's no doubt. With everything in rugby at the moment, I think the base of the pyramid is too narrow. We need to grow it. And as we grow the base of the pyramid, then the top will be higher quality. And we can say that about athletes, teams, referees, coaches. So it's our responsibility right now is to grow the game and keep growing it. And as we grow it, it will get better and better and better. And just even from a point of view of the MLR now, the boys who are interested in professional game have something to aim for. The boys that want to play in a good college can go and play in a good college environment. And even the boys who maybe academically have different targets, like a lot of our guys would be going to schools that don't have varsity rugby programs and are much more academically focused. At least they have an outlet that they can play in a club environment that's now getting better and better and better.
And we are in the shadows of Ellis Island, where many an immigrant came, and you're from Ireland. My grandparents got off the boat and came to Jersey City and settled. It's just amazing. This used to be an area where you could drop a body, and now look at it.
Yeah, no, look, we're seeing the gentrification of this part of Jersey City is ridiculous. It's one of the things I see at CBA. Like, I have a lot of expat parents, and it's easier for them to buy into the game and buy into the ethos because they're used to seeing it back at home, whether they're from England or Ireland or Scotland.
You must mention Wales here.
No, Wales, fair enough. And Wales. It's a little bit delicate after that last game in the Six Nations. We're seeing, and I think it's a combination of seeing these expat parents and then American parents and really buying into the ethos of rugby and what we're trying to achieve. Because it's not, like I say to parents the second I see them, it's better better men, better players. It's always better men first. And if we focus on that, then you get the parents to buy in. I know a while ago I saw Scott Lawrence being interviewed, and he said that you have to win over the mothers. And it's one of our big focuses when we have parents meetings, that it's the parents that they are a client base that we have to satisfy. We have to make sure that we're giving the parents a great experience for their kids. And it's one of the things that I try and differentiate my relationship with parents. And I say to the parents up front, we're a team to facilitate the best experience for your kid, right? So we should never have any kind of adversity between rugby parents and rugby coaches. And I know in other sports we see coaches sometimes have a hard time and put some distance between themselves and the parents. I'm much happier having the parents on my side and us working together to be successful.
Well, Pat, you've done a great job. You single-handedly started this program down at CBA. Kids now have opportunities to go to college playing rugby. The pathway, as you said, is now there. You have the carrot to dangle before them. You have an opportunity to play in college. You have an opportunity to represent the country, and you have an opportunity to play in the MLR. Are kids picking star players that they're following and emulating at this point from America?
You see some, but you still see more often they'll talk about, and maybe that's a little bit my fault as well, because I watch more European rugby. I watch the MLR, but I probably only watch the New York games because they're the guys I know and the guys I'm interested in. And more often than not, when I send out clips, I'm sending out clips of European games rather than American games. But the boys are aware of it, and I know the parents have said they want to do a day trip out to Coney Island to see the rugby. So we just have to fit that into our schedule. Unfortunately, a lot of the games clash with our games, or clash with school events. I know one game clashes with prom, and it's difficult, but we're going to try our best.
All right, so final question for you. You lost a tight win by 3 points here to St. Peter's Prep on the road, narrow pitch. It's not exactly built for rugby, but it's better than what we used to have in this area. Can we blame the loss squarely on the shoulders of your assistant coach, Brian Sheehy?
Well, I went in and had a chat with him about his feedback to the boys, but no, you can't. St. Peter's Prep are playing in the same environment we're playing in, right? They got the win, we didn't. And I talked to the boys at halftime. I felt like we were struggling to play our game plan, and we struggled again in the second half. I do feel like for us, rain on a narrow pitch isn't ideal, but at the same time, it's the same for St. Peter's Prep. So Brian is doing a great job with the forwards. He is excitable, and he excites the boys, and he understands the ethos of what we're trying to achieve. It's great to see Tig, his son, who's a freshman, starting on varsity at prop. And Tig has done an incredible job. He came out, played some sevens. He definitely had a lot to learn, and then he went and wrestled for the winter, and all of a sudden he comes out and he's a monster, and he's ready to get stuck in. And I think that's one of the lessons that I try and teach the boys is, if you're not doing the work in the winter, you're not going to be successful in the spring, And there's a great synergy between CBA wrestling and CBA rugby, and we really hope that it keeps growing, because I think that we're two sports that can complement each other and help each other all the time.
And it's also great, all kidding aside, because the Sheehys are family to me. You have generations of players in America. You've got the Furies in Jersey, down in your backyard. You got the Vakasisi Kakalas in New York, and now you have guys like the Sheehys and other families now, and it's a credit to you guys.
But again, it's an attractive environment for the kids to play in and for the parents to want to come. And again, part of it has to be about the rugby, but also part of it has to be about the environment and what we're trying to achieve for the kids.
Pat, continued success, and we really appreciate what you're doing. We know you have a young team, but it was a great experience for them and great for rugby.
Thank you very much indeed, Matt. Take care.
Pretty cool, right? It's going to the growth of rugby in the United States, and great job by the respective staffs of both teams.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting thing when you look at high school rugby in America. Dominated by religion.
Dominated by religion.
Private Catholic schools on either coast and all over the place doing good things. And obviously in Utah, Salt Lake, you have tremendous Mormon influence there. So those high school competitions at national level have been dominated by religiously organized private schools. It's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just an observation. Right? Both those types of schools have embraced this particular sport. What we need is every high school to embrace our sport.
Excellent. But before we go, hey, you guys down at Christian Brothers Academy, don't give Tig a hard time. He's my nephew. That's why he got the airtime. Okay? Tig Sheehy, love you, buddy. On that note, we are out of time. Matt McCarthy for Steve Lewis at the Fantasy Sports Network, Studio 34 in New York City for Rugby Wrap-Up, signing off.